This podcast is part of Another Happy Studios,
the home of podcasts with passion.
Hello and welcome once again to Talking Pictures Podcast. I'm your host David and joins me as always my co-host Brian. Brian, how are you today? Fucking young. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning listener, then also welcome. We've new episodes every single Wednesdays as well as bonus episodes every other weekend, so make sure that you're subscribed to us on your favourite podcasting app of choice, or you can listen to us on YouTube at Another Happy Studios. Brian, you normally have a trailer of the week for us, but we are pre-recording this a couple of weeks in advance, so we're just going to jump straight into it.
We're recording this before we even see Superman, so how the hell am I going to anticipate a trailer to come out? Even a trailer were to come out between now and the release of this episode, first of all, what would it be? And second of all, how can we talk about it without actually watching the trailer?
Mortal Kombat 2.
Oh, fuck, I'll go for it.
Yeah. Wow, that Mortal Kombat 2. What a movie.
Man, Carl Urban's getting up there.
Yeah, and you know, the guy that played Kano, you liked him?
I like that actor.
Good to see him back too.
Aussie Man Reviews, I think that's him.
Maybe, I don't know.
No, it's not. He's a YouTuber, but everyone was saying Aussie Man Reviews. I like that Australian that was in Mortal Kombat.
I liked the fact that we got to see a fatality in the trailer. That was nuts.
Ah, yeah, man.
That was crazy.
Awesome,
and
dude.
those the monsters?
Yeah.
They look as if they've got better graphics than the first one.
Oh man, Sub-Zero, great to see him back.
Like Sub-Zero. He's good.
I'm 100% going to be listening to this intro when the trailer comes out.
Yeah.
Just to make sure.
But we're not here today to talk about the Mortal Kombat 2 trailer that hasn't come out, or maybe has come out, I don't know. But we're here today instead to talk about Formula 1, or F1 the movie.
F1 copyright. The movie.
Yeah. I like that we get a movie that is very much heavily involved with the sport itself. This is like the equivalent of getting FIFA the movie, you know, NBA the movie. There was no time in which watching this movie did I feel like Apex as a group were not a real motorsport team or a Formula 1 team.
That's crazy.
What?
You're just making me think of a new genre in its own right. Mm-hmm. The sport genre. The
movie. Yeah. I would like to see it. Like how many create a fake football team, create a fake country, and have that country go to the World Cup, and we get to see this team move up through the World Cup, and we get to see them play against actual players like Mbappe and Messi and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and you know the trials and tribulations of playing in a World Cup or something like that. I think that would be really cool. That's like on the same level of what this is.
You know, this movie was originally called Apex.
Yeah, I remember it. Untitled Apex Project, I think it was, with Joe Kosinski. I'm glad that they kept Apex within the story itself.
Yeah, it was very prominent. But now you're making me think of Gran Turismo. And not because it's racing, and not because it's another genre, video game adaptation, but it's because it's Gran Turismo, the movie. Not necessarily a video game adaptation. It's the biopic or a biopic in relation to the banner, the company of Gran Turismo, because it's a real life thing.
What was Gran Turismo's full title?
Gran Turismo.
No, it had something else. It was Gran Turismo based on a true story, or something like that. Do you remember it had like a ridiculous title?
But that based on a true story is just like a...
No, but the full title of the movie is Gran Turismo based on a true story.
No, but that based on a true story is just something for the marketing, not if for no prime other reason. The fact that yes, this is a true story. Come see it.
So normally with the marketing and stuff like that, you would put based on a true story, but the full title of the Gran Turismo film is Gran Turismo based on a true story. In the same way that From the World of John Wick, Ballerina is the full title of that movie.
Check yourself.
No, I remember it. I just looked it up. I did.
Look up From the World of John Wick, Ballerina.
Have they changed it?
If you were to search that on Letterboxd right now, you just punch in Ballerina, it'll come up. Just punch in Ballerina on Letterboxd.
I'm punching it, Chewy. I'm punching it. It does come up just Ballerina. They've changed it. They've changed it.
Chewbacca. Yeah. There you go. So, what were we talking about?
F1, the movie.
Let's go straight into it. My anticipation for this movie, it was less and lower. I was supposed to say lower than Mission Impossible 8. Because everything I suppose anticipated of F1 turned out to be exactly what I expected it to be. A phenomenal, well made, well shot, greatly acted sports film where it incorporates the same cinematography as Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
And when you have a good writing team and a great A-list star such as Brad Pitt, there's only a few of them running around these days, one of your favourite actors, yet, and rightly so. He's a great typical Hollywood star.
Yeah.
That's not Tom Cruise. And Joe Kosinski at the helm, you know, he did Tron and he did Oblivion, but ever since now Top Gun Maverick, it feels like his next movie has to be on a particular vehicle, or something equivalent to that, where he has to repeat the same cinematography style.
He's shown that he can do that.
Yeah.
So that's what people expect of him.
And he has to be an A-list star now, so get Will Smith or something like that.
Yeah. I had it pretty high on my anticipated list. If you go back and listen to that at the start of the year, I think I maybe had it 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And it was exactly for those reasons as well. It's like, I want to see this magnetic star in a sports movie directed by the guy. I've seen what he can do with Top Gun Maverick. I want to see him take the style of seeing the fighter jets and feeling as though I'm in a fighter jet, and put that now in a Formula 1 car that's going 200 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
I wanted to see that, and I feel as though the movie 100% delivered that.
Yeah. Now, maybe I didn't clarify. The reason why it wasn't high on my list was because I knew that was going to be the case.
You knew it was going to deliver.
It's what I expected.
Yeah.
Therefore, my anticipation level, my curiosity level was not high. Everything we were given in this movie, I got it.
Yeah.
And I know it's great. It's brilliant. It's one of the better well-made movies this year. But I just knew everything that was going to come. And maybe that's it's a very fan thing for me to say, or just a lazy thing for me to say, given how much hard work it is to put mounted cameras on vehicles going how many kilometers an hour?
At least 200, I think.
200 kilometers an hour. High speed. Driving at the rate where you are at risk of your own life. I don't know how much Brad Pitt did drive in those cars, but I'm convinced he did a lot.
See, I completely understand what you're saying, that you're going into it with a certain level of expectation. So even though you enjoyed the film, you knew he is going to meet that because of his previous work. Because of Top Gun Maverick, you know that he can achieve what you're expecting.
But it's not just that as well. I knew that this older has been cool older gentleman is coming into the fold.
You knew the plot points it was going to hit.
And
it wasn't going
to mentor this young,
Yeah.
Loud, rough, tough. Thinks he's the best, and he's calling Brad Pitt old man. And I knew they were going to butt heads, and then they were going to get along, and then there's a love interest, and then there's the best friend who running the company, and then they have their DMC, and we didn't have one but 2 hospitalizations for both our characters. And then it comes around to the end where it's the final race, and
it all comes down to the final race.
You see, it's I'm not going to say it's Formula
1.
But it is.
No, you're right. I think I agree with you that it is very formulaic in that if we had sat down beforehand, it's like, okay, what are the main points that they're going to hit? What is going to happen? Then we would have hit a lot of those. I think what the film does well though is in its characters. I think that it subverted a lot of the tropes that sports movies would have done previously. I think that some of the timings as well, the way that the story is told, when things happen, like
I'll give you one example right now. I bet you're thinking. So Javier Bardem recruits Brad Pitt to boost up his team and to be a good companion to his hotshot up-and-comer racer. And so we all expect, all right, they've made a bet, Brad Pitt and Damson Idris, and that Brad Pitt is going to do a race and he's going to show everyone off. He might do it in an untraditional sense, maybe a way that is beaten against the rules and regulations, but it's just within line and he'll still get past it. No, he crashes the fucking car.
It's that moment in Top Gun Maverick where the guys can't do the run, and so Maverick does it himself and shows it is possible. You know, that's what you're expecting of it. That wasn't one of the scenes I was thinking of. The one I was thinking of is the subversion of the crash. Like, we know that if we're watching a racing movie, there's going to be a crash. That crash happens quite early on in the story. It's race 2, 3 of these guys, and it puts your man out. his partner, Brad Pitt's partner, JP, Joshua Pierce, puts him out of the race for a couple of races, you know, and in I think another film that would have happened the second to last race.
That reminds me of now. Bear in mind, it is a 2 hour and 30-minute movie, so there's 2 hospitalizations in this movie. So I think it's fine for that to happen early on. It did remind me of Rush. Did you see Rush? Yeah. With Daniel Bruhl and
Chris Hemsworth.
I really love that movie.
I've only watched it once, but I know it's quite good. Yeah,
Daniel Bruhl has a hospitalization after a crash, and he's the main character in my opinion of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really thought about Rush, but I was also thinking about Ford v Ferrari, a more fun, entertaining, engaging film about racing. But
I did think of that one too, but they're very different in the styles of racing.
Oh well, yeah. Like, look, nothing else about it. This is the modern racing film. Like, this is in our day and age. But you're right. JP crashes the car well early on, a fault of his own, because Brad Pitt is taking all the hits and the bumps in the race to deter all the other racers from beating out Joshua Pierce. So that starts to construct a partnership between the two, not as a team.
Yeah.
And I like that. But then when Josh is taken out, he's taken out of the race, and now it's all under Brad Pitt's hands, and he propels the team going forward. And then, you know, at this point, they've already had their fight. They've already had their button heads and shoving each other in the hallways when the cameras aren't looking. But then JP comes back and he forces Brad Pitt's character to crash again, and then he comes out, pushes him against the wall again behind closed doors, and shoves him against the corner, and they're at each other's throats again.
Yeah.
And then that's when they play cards to dial it back up. So
see, I thought that was good. I thought that the way
no, I'm not saying it's bad.
Okay.
I'm in no way saying anything here is bad that I'm critical of. No, don't misunderstand. I like this movie. I like everything about this movie. There's nothing I don't like about this movie.
Okay, good.
I just expected it.
Yeah, it didn't surprise you at all.
Nothing surprised. Do you know what did surprise me? Brad Pitt being not a straight shot, clean racer. Like I said earlier, he crashed the first car he drove in the movie that was supposed to prove everyone, look, this guy is the next fucking shit. He's the undiscovered gem. He's a has-been, but he's undiluted. He's raw talent, and he's what the team needs right now. No, he crashes their first car and says, well, that's a start. So that's untraditional, and that's what I liked about it.
I liked Sonny as a character. I thought he was untraditional, because in the same way you're saying, where you could have telegraphed, you know, what was going to happen. It's very formulaic.
Yeah.
I thought it would have been very formulaic to have this older driver come in who's very lone wolf-esque and doesn't want to work as a team and has to learn to work as a team. Instead, he comes in, and I wouldn't say he's a lone wolf. I'd say he's a wild card. I would say that he doesn't listen to the engineers and the managers and stuff like that, and he does what he wants to. But at the end of the day, he does work as a team. And from that first race, he works as a team. It's his whole mission is to get them a win, because he's doing it for his friend. Yeah. He's not there for the glory. He's not there to do it himself. There's so many times in most races where he's slowing down the pack for Joshua to get ahead. Yeah. You know, he's not looking for the win in the same way that maybe in Ford versus Ferrari, Christian Bale's character is looking for the win. Yeah. He is looking to win it. But Sonny here is very much, he is a team player. He's just a bit of a wild card.
Yeah, you know, you're right. Even in Rush, the characters want to win the race. But you're right. Brad Pitt doesn't want to win. He does what he does want is to fly.
Yeah, he doesn't. You know, there are moments where he won't let Joshua pass him.
Yeah,
and it's more so earn it.
Yeah,
I'm not just gonna let you pass me. Win it for yourself. Yeah, you know, and like if you were to go on past him, he's not going to race up and try and pass him out again or anything like that. It's very much just come on, win it. And then even they finish 8th in one race, and he's celebrating and all, and he's like, "Why are you smiling for?" I'm like, "We came 8th." You know, that's not. He's still trying to save Apex for his friend, for Javier Bardem.
Yeah, what I liked with that particular dynamic is he's, I suppose, teaching JP to understand posing for the cameras and standing there with brands trying to be a marketing tool. That's not the job.
No.
The job is the race.
He's teaching Joshua teamwork, which for a character who we're introduced to as a bit of a lone wolf, you wouldn't expect that to be. Because when Sonny turns up and then he starts going for runs around the track with the two pit crew, and then eventually it's the whole pit crew, they're all going for a run together. Whereas Joshua is himself just in the gym, you know, with the mask on,
he's hooked up with all the gadgets and
trying to be the best that he can, the most fit that he can be. So
he's doing what Drago's doing in Rocky 4.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brad Pitt is doing what Rocky's doing. He's running around with tennis balls in his hands.
Yeah, just for, you know, because that's, I guess, how he did it. It keeps his hand-eye coordination as best as possible.
Yeah.
And then slowly over the course of the movie, Apex is doing better and better, and then Joshua leaves. And Brad Pitt has to cultivate that relationship with the rest of the crew, and he's doing it and doing it and doing it, and then Joshua comes back and he just like fucks it up entirely. And that's when he has to realize, that's when Kerry Condon has to sit them down and says, you know, let's find some common ground here. And it's more so for Joshua than it is for Sonny, because Sonny has often thrown a race, or he'll cause himself to hazard or break the car or anything like that for the opportunity for Joshua to get better. And even in the poker game, he throws the poker game. You know, it doesn't really matter to him at all. It's like, I think Brad Pitt's character does have the team at the forefront of his mind. It's Apex. It doesn't matter whether he's first or second. Like until even in that last race when he's up against Hamilton, it's the two of them working together, and he's sending Joshua first. Yeah. JP goes first, and it just so happens that he crashes, and then Brad Pitt is the one that can win it.
Yeah, Brad Pitt, like Sonny Hayes, he's automatically planning to take out Hamilton to throw the race for himself.
Yeah.
So
he doesn't mind getting second or third.
Yeah.
As long as,
but like
JP
that's his automatic thinking. Like he's never considering the possibility, oh wait, maybe I should, if I actually commit to this, I can actually win without forcing anyone else to crash.
Yeah.
You know? Like he's racing to help someone else win. He's not racing for himself to win. And funny enough, I didn't think so much about that when watching this movie. More so because I was just so focused on the fact that the team has to win, not that Sonny has to win, you know? But again, I knew he was going to throw the card game.
Yeah, you knew he was going to throw it, yeah.
But what did you make as Brad Pitt now as an actor and his character here? Because, you know, when you think about an actor, Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, or Tom Hanks, or so on and so forth, the Will Smiths and all that, you're thinking about an actor, and they're so high profile, they're so prominent in Hollywood, they're such veterans now, and you watch them in the new Brad Pitt movie or whatever,
that they could sell tickets themselves on their name alone.
Not necessarily that, but are you going in there to watch the characters that they are, or to watch them as the perception we perceive them to be in the movie that they are in? Because when I'm watching this movie, I could try and think back, I remember you from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yeah. Or I remember you in, you were younger, but you were in Fight Club. Yeah. But now, he's more bulked up than he was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I thought. But I can remember him in Bullet Train as well. Yeah. So,
see, I think of Brad Pitt as he's a draw for me in name alone. I just really like him. I find his energy magnetic. Yeah. I really just like watching him. Yeah. Any time where he is able to disappear within a character. Bullet Train is a great example where he's like almost incompetent. He's not incompetent, but he's not.
He's lucky. He's lucky in the fact that everyone will work out for him.
Yeah. And that's very different to how he is in this film. Yeah. And this character is very different to how he is in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And so, even though, maybe the looks are the same and stuff like that, because obviously it's the same person.
And the fact that we know, it is the same actor. He's Brad Pitt. We all know him.
But I find that he can, even though his name and who he is as a person draws me into the film itself, or it gets me in the seat. Yeah. But then once he's on screen, I see him as the character he's playing. I don't see Brad Pitt there. I see Sonny.
And I think that's why he's one of the biggest selling points of Hollywood. It's why he's one of the biggest draws in Hollywood. And I reckon there's not many of those.
Not anymore.
I wonder, like, would Scarlett Johansson be one?
Not for me, personally.
Well, like, think about it. Like, she's part of the Avengers and she's a big name in Hollywood, but she's the name in the next Jurassic World movie. Like, do you Are you looking at her as like, that's Scarlett Johansson, or are you thinking, oh, it's the new Jurassic World movie and there's this character who just so happens to be...
I think of it more of the franchise than the characters.
Now, fair enough, this is not a franchise, this is just a
one-off, yeah.
It's a one-off standalone movie, even though there was teasing idea, oh, Days of Thunder crossover with... Because just because Tom Cruise, who worked with the same director twice, is now working on another racing movie, and Tom Cruise was at the premiere in support of Brad Pitt.
That, you know what? Talking about movie stars, talking about Tom Cruise, I quite like the fact that Tom Cruise is like an advocate for movies.
Yeah.
I love the fact that he will go, because he was there at the Sinners premiere, he was big on like the Barbenheimer, like he's there, he's not in Formula 1, the movie, at all, but he's there to support his friends. He worked with Brad Pitt before on Interview with the Vampire, he worked with Joe Kosinski, and he's like, I'm just here for the movies, you know, I love the movies. I
wonder,
love that.
Does he get invited, or does he self-invite, or does he...
I don't think Tom Cruise needs to be invited anywhere. He can just go.
No one's turning away Tom Cruise.
No. And now maybe you hear some ads. Welcome back from the ads. I don't know about you, right? I don't have any real affiliation with Formula 1. Never watched it.
I feel very fake talking about Formula 1, the movie. Given
Not
that,
being a fan of it.
Yeah. And you know what? I feel a little shame on me. Because there are those out there who live for Formula 1 purely as fans, or just like watching the documentaries or whatever.
Yeah,
like
they name drop it as well in this Drive to Survive. Like that Netflix documentary, it's a documentary series that's come out in the last 4 or 5 years, and it's brought a lot of people to the sport. So I think that maybe was a signifier of like, okay, maybe it's time that we do a full-fledged film of this, you know? And it's not something that I've ever been interested in. My dad, I remember like every weekend my dad would have the Formula 1 on. You know, I don't know if it was ever prominent in your house at all for anyone, but it was always on there, and it just never interested me whatsoever.
Do you feel like you're gonna check it out now after this movie?
I don't think so. And I think that's just like, I really enjoyed seeing it in this film and being like on the ground level of it.
Especially when there's a story involved.
Yeah. And I think that I could get that from the Drive to Survive, because there is a story. Like they play the politics of the players and stuff like that. And I think the story is there, but it's a lot of commitment. You got to really follow it, you know, that kind of way. And
what about this, the more favourable stories in Formula 1 documentaries, such as Senna?
See, I would argue that that's different because it's after the fact. Formula 1 would be like watching this would be like watching Drive to Survive and the newest season and following what's going on as it unfolds, you know, whereas Senna, watching that or watching Rush and you're following that, it's all happened already. You know what the outcome will be. It's not like actively having to keep up with it.
So it's watching new material then.
It just doesn't, I don't think it interests me to have it be a constant in my life to watch it the entire time.
No, think about it. I for the sake of not feeling fake, and that's just my own internal struggle, I probably one day when I feel like I'll kill a bit of time for this, check out Drive to Survive.
I think I will too.
I'll check it out, but not for the sake, I hope this person wins the race. No, not in the slightest. I just want to check out to maybe learn a bit more about the sport and appreciate it, and then I can appreciate the sport a little bit more.
But what I think this Formula 1 movie did really well is that it integrates a lot of the Formula 1 within the movie itself. It didn't feel like it was a cheap, like they were working their way up to Formula 1, like that they had like drivers sprinkled throughout.
Yeah.
And the fact that
they
had like Max Verstappen, and they'd name drop people, and like Lewis Hamilton was there and Toto was there. And like these are people that I would have a passing knowledge of. I would know Lewis Hamilton's I'd know him by what he looks like. I know Max Verstappen by name. I wouldn't be able to pick him out in a crowd.
Yeah.
I'd know Michael Schumacher, Senna, Prost as well. Like they name drop a few people like from the old days and stuff like that.
You're naming everyone here that I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, Michael Schumacher came onto the scene as Senna was leaving it. Gotcha. As in just before he died.
Yeah.
Prost was like Senna's main rival. Like the two of them were like one and two.
Yeah, I know, the French guy.
Yeah. And then Michael Schumacher very famously had an accident skiing, I believe it was. And so he stopped racing then because he had the accident skiing. And then his son, actually, I know his son is a driver now at the moment.
You sure you're not a fan of Formula 1?
No, I just know, I think me as a person, I would describe myself as a jack of all trades, master of none. I know so little about so many things, but I'm able to keep a conversation going for some people. Like, just base level of like, I can engage with you in conversation. Like our friend Richie, I can talk to Richie about Liverpool to a certain point. I don't actually know anything, but I could keep a conversation going, you know, and then change the subject.
That's a good skill set in its own right.
I think
man.
it's something I like to think is good of me, like that.
You
I
should
know
be.
I know a little about a lot.
Hey man, be proud of that.
But the way that it does it in this movie, where it has all those things sprinkled out, it made it feel more real. The fact that we were getting scenes of, before the race, them all lining up to do the national anthem, and you're going through actual racers, and then just on the end are Brad Pitt and Joshua Pierce. I can't think of the actor's name.
Damson Idris.
The fact that two of them are just standing there on the end, it feels real, you know, because they filmed that at the actual Grand Prix.
Yeah.
They came and Brad Pitt and Damson Idris just came out and stood there as they were doing the thing.
Imagine being a racer all your life, and there you see the fucking star of Hollywood, Brad Pitt, right there next to you. And it's like, oh man, can I get a picture with you?
Yeah,
autograph.
Right before you're about to actually race for 3 to 4 hours. But even the like the sponsorships and stuff like that, it didn't feel cheap or anything like that. Like the sponsors that they had on their race suits and on the car were real brands that you would see in real life. So it just, like I said at the start of the show, it didn't feel like at all Apex was a fake group within the world. It just felt it was a new group.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of way, like, oh, we've never heard of it, but I could turn on the TV and, oh, look, yeah, there's Apex. That's the team that Brad Pitt, you know, it's the same with watching...
It's kind of funny now that you would associate, oh, Brad Pitt's on that team.
Yeah. It's like watching Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
And even though
Ted Lasso,
AFC Richmond is a fake team, they're playing against real teams and real players, and you'll see Pep Guardiola and all these characters. So I just like the integration of that, you know?
Yeah.
It made the world feel real.
It's a real movie.
It is. It's a movie. It's a summer blockbuster. And I think a lot of that can come down to... So it comes down to Joe Kosinski and what he did so well in Top Gun Maverick, of the way it's shot. Like, the fact that Brad Pitt and Damson Idris weren't actually racing in those Grand Prix, but it sure as shit felt like it. There was at no point did I think, oh yeah, no, these are like... Probably if they were driving, it was well, I mean, it probably are stunt drivers or whatever, and they're driving on a track with maybe 2-3 cars at the most.
Yeah.
But it felt like, oh no, I'm in the middle of a race.
Yeah, I didn't check them out, like, on how much they actually did themselves. Like, I'd imagine they did a bit of driving themselves.
Sure, they did, yeah.
At their own risk, you know, sign a few insurance papers.
Probably not going more than 80 kilometers an hour, though.
80? I
Yeah.
was fucking thinking like maybe 30.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, well, 80 is like, sure, you drive that in a car.
Brad Pitt himself said, yeah, I'll do another movie with Tom Cruise, but I am not hanging off the side of a plane.
No.
Like, whereas Tom Cruise, if he was in that, fuck yeah, can I go to 300 maybe? Mm-hmm. Yeah, keep beyond that shit.
Yeah. Well, in Top Gun Maverick, they were in the jets, but there was another pilot, I believe, either on top of, probably underneath, that was actually flying them.
Yeah.
So they were in the jets as they were flying, and they were doing the motions as if they were flying it. So that felt very real, but it's carried over here that it did feel very real throughout the movie. And I think, I don't know about you, the score of this film, it's not something I normally notice, but the score of this, it was like goosebumping. I felt like it was really intense. It was Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, was it?
It was Hans Zimmer, and Hans Zimmer also did the score for Rush.
Oh, I didn't realise this was Hans Zimmer. Oh, fuck. Cool.
And it just felt like so intense, and I felt like it was, like, even in the last race, it's so intense, and then you find out, oh no, that was the second last lap. Do you know?
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah, look, as someone who knew how the movie was going to go, for some strange reason, once it was just the two of them and Hamilton left, I felt myself, oh, sit up, pay attention to this now, like, get enthralled in this. It's very invigorating now, just all of a sudden, these last 10 minutes, this last lap, because you can think about what's going to happen, but then you just don't know, and it's coming very tight to the number now, you know, and who's going to cross that line first. And I felt myself, oh yeah, the score's complementing the visuals here. I did feel like that with this movie. It was good.
What do you think then some of the other characters, so not our two racers? So you got Kerry Condon and you got Javier Bardem.
I like seeing Kerry Condon in something after Banshees of Inisherin, and that's not in theatre.
When Kerry Condon came on screen, I was like, I wonder what accent she's going to pull here. But she fully leans into her Irish accent. I feel as though she's got like one of the strongest Irish accents at the moment. Because in Banshees of Inisherin, I felt like it was maybe put on a little bit to be like, oh Jesus, Christ almighty.
Yeah, but like...
Why aren't you talking to him? He's our best friend.
It's the 1920s.
I know, and I thought that she was putting it on. But then when she started talking here, I was like, oh no, okay, that just is your accent then. Okay. It's a very strong Irish accent.
Her accent is so strong it comes across nearly as fake.
Exactly, yeah. Because she does it she's the voice of Friday in The Avengers as well.
Yeah.
And when I first heard that, I was like, what the fuck Irish accent is that? Who twiddly-dee, get me Lucky Charms. Do you know? I thought that was what it was. Then I found out it was Kerry Condon. I was like, oh, okay then. I guess she just has that accent. And it felt it's a very strong accent. And so I thought, is she going to lean it back? Is she going to be American? No, she's just going to speak exactly how she speaks.
And I hope that she's putting off a lot of American audiences. Like, what is that? What alien language is she speaking? Mm-hmm. Kerry Condon, where is she from?
She must be from Killarney. Or Kerry. Somewhere like that.
I'm looking that up right now.
Do.
She's from Tip.
She's from Tipperary, is she?
She's from Tip, yeah.
Fair play to her.
Jesus, not bad. I liked her. I liked that she was a little bit more than just the female lead, the woman for Brad Pitt to get.
Yeah.
Like, not a bad day to get up with Brad Pitt.
No,
but
I like that it's a bit more age appropriate than maybe some other films would dare to do.
Yeah. And I think that's good. It was Jennifer Connelly in Top Gun Maverick and the last one, more age appropriate pairing.
We don't need 20 to 30 year
keep
age gaps.
Don't be hiring Leonardo DiCaprio's girlfriends.
No.
But I liked her in this. I like,
and she's an integral part to the team as well.
Yeah,
it's not like she's some ancillary character that was a fan of Formula One or anything like that, or she's in like marketing or anything like that. She's a part of the team.
Now, like, she playing up with she's not even going to be a tryhard. She's just not into Brad Pitt at all. Like, she work first all the way, and she doesn't like Brad Pitt as a wild card, reluctant team player, and that he's causing a lot of loud noise for what they should be doing is remaining quiet while keep catching up. You know, they have a few drinks, they get together, they bond, they have the crack, and there's nothing else really to it. Like, I like that she was looking to chase after him, but he's like, sorry babe, gotta move on at the end when they won.
It did feel in character alright that he like, in some ways he is a lone wolf, right?
Yeah.
Because he does, like, at the end of the movie he goes,
can't stay still. He has to keep moving.
Yeah,
like,
maybe that's it. He can't keep still.
And
but
like,
he doesn't just leave either. He goes back into the dressing room, gets a shower, and gets done up nicely and waits for her to come.
Yeah.
And they have a goodbye. You know, he hasn't just left her high and dry after sleeping with her or anything like that.
Yeah.
Did you feel as though after he'd won the race, so when they won the race and they were doing the celebrations, I was like, okay, it's going to end here. And it kept going. And I was like, I wonder why this is still going. It just feels like it was that was a natural end point. But when he went into the locker room, I felt as though, I feel like something bad's going to happen here. I feel as though something like, because it happened in Babylon. Do you remember his character killed himself? And I was like, is he going to like break down, or is he going to do something here? I felt actually kind of scared for his character.
I felt a little something like that, but I didn't think he'd actually do anything to harm himself. I thought that maybe the overwhelming environment of winning, and like he couldn't even bear the thought of holding the trophy. Like, that's why he said, no, give it to him.
I like that because he does it at Daytona as well.
Yeah.
It's more a superstitious thing. You know, he's like, oh, he earned it, whatever. He doesn't want to touch it. It's bad luck, he thinks.
And he, like, the most he'll do is, shake the champagne bottle and start, firing it everywhere. But like, immediately after that, he walks off.
He's away.
He just needs to be on his own.
Yeah.
And I think, like, the overwhelming rush of winning, I guess being the best, as his friend told him, but knowing that this is not for him, it's the flying he likes. It's those 7 or 8 seconds of flying, of driving at such an incredible high rated speed that he's just bungee jumping.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me that sequence very at the end where he is flying. I did think of Ford versus Ferrari, that whole idea of the perfect lap.
Yeah.
Do you know, it felt like that whole thing was like he's done the perfect lap, and he's set a record or anything like that. And that's what that whole moment, that's what that sequence felt like to me. It's like, oh, he's doing the perfect lap here. He's gonna fly. He's going that fast.
Yeah. What did you think of Harry Bardem then?
I quite liked him. I liked the relationship that they had, the fact that they were former teammates, and that there was something that happened. I think they kind of referenced it a few times for like, oh, revenge for Monaco or something like that, where I don't know, we don't know exactly what happened, but something happened, but they felt like a I believe that the two of them were friends
Yeah.
for years, you know? And the fact that Brad Pitt's character, Sonny, carried throughout his defense of his friend. Like, even when Javier Bardem introduces him to the other fella, the guy that's on the board, the villain, I suppose, of the story.
Mr. British man.
Yeah.
Uncle from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Edmure Tully. He introduces him to him, and then later on in the film we find out, oh, he's the bad guy. He's actually trying to sell the company. And
Yeah.
Brad Pitt's, even though he's been fired by Javier Bardem, he's like, he's going to go back and he's still going to help his friend out.
He'll still walk in as if he's the plumber or mechanic or serviceman.
Yeah,
Like,
he's not there with a big grand entrance. He's just walking up, you know, with his bags on his
but
shoulder.
That is a bit of a big grand entrance, though, isn't it?
I mean, it's presented to us as it is, but like for only
he's-
the fact that the other characters saw him. Otherwise, he would have just walked up into the hangar, into the garage.
No, sorry, the camera was there.
Sorry, we had to get you.
Yeah.
You were walking up. We had to get you. But I liked him. I liked Javier Bardem.
I like that they were friends as opposed to he heard about Sonny Hayes and he knows of him and he knows
Yeah.
he hasn't had his big shot yet and he's coming in to recruit him. Like, at least the bonding was there.
I'm going to give you your chance. I liked as well the fact that they acknowledged to him that you're our 9th or 10th choice. Like, you weren't my first choice because of what had happened. Because you're also 30 years past your prime after having a huge accident, you know, back when you were a racer. And so he's their 9th or 10th choice. And then finally he's like, yeah, okay, we need to get Sonny.
Oh, but he takes it on the chin, though. Like,
He does, yeah. He's not going to hold it against him.
Yeah, he's taking on a big laugh.
I quite like the scene where he comes to Kerry Condon's room to he's looking for Sonny.
Yeah.
And Kerry Condon's like, first of all, how dare you think that I would sleep with him on a first, you know, at all? And then it's like, and second of all, this, and third of all, yeah, he's in here, he's out on the balcony. I just thought that was a very quite a funny scene.
Yeah. I like the introduction of him where he's pitching him the idea of why he should join his team, and why he's trying to recruit him, and gives him the first class ticket to join, and to offer him a good payday as well, because Sonny he's a one job after another. Like, he's even driving taxis at times.
I feel as though Sonny, even though this is going to conflict now with, I suppose, that what it said in the movie that he had a gambling problem and all that kind of stuff, I felt as though Sonny wasn't a character that was ever in need of money. He felt more so a character who just loved to drive. And he would job hop, he would do from one to the other.
Yeah.
But he wasn't ever in it for the money.
Well, you know, a guy's got to eat, and he is living in a
He
van.
does,
but
yeah. But I also think that him living in the van is by choice.
It feels like that as a consequence of his gambling addiction. I that's how I took it. Like, it's by choice now because he's comfortable with it, not because, well, you know, I've made a certain amount of money in my life, and even though I've had a few divorces and lost my house and made some bad choices, like he, as a result of his bad choices and his regrets, that's when he was living the life he is living at the start of the movie. But it feels like it's by choice, and that's another thing as well. With the journalist asking him these questions, first time he's talking to the press. Remember that? And he's
just listing every single failure he's ever had.
And he says, "Yeah,
Yep. Anything you do different? Yep. And then that's it. Like, he's not elaborating on anything. It's like what's the question here?
Yeah.
Like, you're just like airing out my dirty laundry here.
What I like about that is he's pretty much saying, "Yep, fuck you," give the middle finger. But that's all done through saying "yeah" with a big Brad Pitt half fake smile. Yeah, like a little passive aggressive. But
he doesn't have a big outburst of telling him to go fuck himself or anything like that.
Him literally just responding with the single word "yes," "yep." The journalist feels like, well, I'm standing here with my fucking pants down now, like feeling like the bad guy.
He comes across the dickhead, and he was being a dickhead.
He was being a fucking dickhead. I didn't like the fact that they did not have a poker game, and he still gives him 10 grand. Why did he do that? That's 10 grand he could use himself.
He did it because he said he had placed a bet with him earlier on the season that he was going to finish first in a different race. And he didn't, so he paid the 10 grand off.
I misunderstood the bet then.
Oh, okay, so
I thought it was a poker. I thought it was a game of poker they were going to be playing.
No, it was a Grand Prix.
God.
He said he was going to come first at a different race, and then I think that was the one that he spun out of, or that he got, that JP knocked him out of.
It might make him make a good story in the news for him, for his character, but he doesn't even care about that.
No. Sure, it's 10 grand. I think he was getting paid 90 grand a week or something like that, so 10 grand is nothing to him.
If you were getting paid 90 grand a week and you still had 10 grand in your pocket before that or after that, doesn't matter, would you still give away 10 grand because just to have someone be put in their place? Someone you don't know, someone you don't care, someone who's an afterthought, not even an afterthought in your life. Would you still give away 10 grand? It's 10 grand. No, David.
No, I wouldn't. No. It's 10 grand. It's the equivalent of if you were paid over the course of a year, you were paid £1 million. No, not even £1 million. If you were paid 10,000 quid and if he gave someone a tenner, that's what 10,000 is to whatever he was paid. And here might be some ads. Welcome back from the ads.
But overall, like I enjoyed the overall flow. Like whether it was the races, being a reluctant team player to bringing the company forward from being the losers, going from zero to hero to being the winner of the Grand Prix. Like overall, it was good. The DMCs he was having, talking about his life, his accident. I like that whole element of it. How the first footage in the opening movie was not just a random footage of a 70s Formula 1 vehicle on a racetrack. No, that was him. That was Brad Pitt. The colour's yellow. Reflectant of his golden hair. And the crash. And that was one of the better crashes in that movie. A crash that we didn't even see because upon impact it cuts to black. But with the sound of the music, you felt the crash. Yeah. And then later on, it's revealed in the footage, he's just lying in the middle of the track with the way his body is
not
posed.
moving whatsoever.
But the way his legs is like posed in a certain way.
He's broken. Like his leg is twisted around the wrong way or something like that. It's hard to look at. All right. I
thought that was a good backstory for him. A little reminiscent to Lightning McQueen's mentor, Paul Newman's character in Cars.
Doc Hudson,
yeah.
I really liked the kind of scrappy nature, I suppose, of his driving to begin with. The fact that I think I liked the teamwork that he had, or like using the rules to his advantage. You know, like the fact that
I've never seen that before.
No, and it's like I'm playing by the rules. You know, I'm costing Apex hundreds of thousands of dollars, but we're getting up the positions, you know, and he's slowly building that up and like forcing the safety car to come out, and so everyone has to stay in the position that they're in. Yeah. But he can, you know, Joshua can move up the track a bit further, you know, and it'll cost them a bit of money here, but it might win them the race. And I liked the kind of the scrappy underdog nature of that, with the car that they had at that moment, that wasn't a car to win. It was like, but we can use other things to our advantage. We can win using other things.
I remember when he was refusing to drive off in the medium tires because no, I want the soft ones, and he's just not moving. Like, and everyone's getting boiling up, shouting, "Move!
Yeah,
drive!"
Because a fantastic pit stop is 3 seconds. Yeah. And you're watching the counter go up and it's nearly 30 seconds and you're like, oh my God, like this is so long. Even the very first race that he does where he stalls the car to begin with.
Yeah.
So everyone else has already finished and they're waiting, and he takes his time to come round, and they're like, oh yeah, he's got hot tires. He's going to be faster now because everyone else's tires have cooled down.
Yeah.
It's very clever. Like it appears as though he's like, oh no, I've forgotten how to start the car, you know, and everyone's making fun of him. And then by the time he comes round, everyone's realised, even the commentator, and they're like, oh no, that this actually, he's coming into this with an advantage.
And like, that's not against the rules either.
No, not at all.
He's playing the game.
Yeah.
And you would have thought that because of how easily he crashed the car
begin with, yeah.
Because this guy's, you know, he's rusty around the edges, like he's not very fast and quick and clean as he perceives himself to be.
And luckily for Kerry Condon's character, he does crash the car, and as soon as he gets out, he tells her why he crashed it. You know, he's able to say, oh, it was this on this turn, understeering, oversteering.
Yeah.
And then she's like, finally, someone that can actually tell me what needs to be done to the car, because JP isn't able to do that.
What do you make of him as a character in the end of it all?
I like that by the end of it, he's going to be a better character for the next season. You know, he's going to take whatever the lessons he's learned from Sonny.
I like the growth he has in it.
Yeah.
I like the part where his mother is trying to tell him to apologize, and he's, hey bro, when I brought that stuff up about you, like,
not cool.
Yeah, not cool. And then she's like, apologize. And he says, what I'm trying to say is I'm sorry. No, that's okay. You're just concerned that I'm going to be better than you.
Yeah.
And then he brushes that off while winking at his mom. Hi, how are you doing? I'm Sonny.
And even there's the moment where she blames Sonny for his crash.
Yeah.
For her son's crash. And he takes it. He doesn't say,
He doesn't.
I
or
told
take
him
that.
not to do that, and he did it anyway. And it has to be then JP that comes out and tells her that it was his decision to do that. And I like a little bit later on, he goes into the simulator and he figures, oh, I could have won the race had I have listened to Sonny.
yeah.
You know, he continuously does that. He makes the exact same mistake. He spins out. And had they've won that, it wouldn't have come down to the final race, because all they needed to do was place first in any Grand Prix in these 9 races. What was the other thing? Oh, yeah, even like little things of Swan was quite good. Just the fact that kept coming up throughout the film. But
I've never heard that before.
Oh, have you never heard of someone swanning about the place?
No.
Oh yeah, man, they're like big and bold, and they're coming in swanning and making themselves look better than they are.
Cocky little shits.
Yeah. But what was it in the race when Sonny made it look as though he was going to pit?
Yeah.
And so all the rest of the cars went into the pit, but then he turned right at the last second, and was able to go off. I thought it was the scrappy underdog nature that he was fighting was very, very good. I really enjoyed it.
It does make for a good story.
It does. Everyone follows an underdog. Everyone roots for the underdog.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's an underdog, but also being like an old dog. I think he's an underdog and an old dog. Like, no one expects much from him because of his history.
Well, him being old shows his appreciation and more veteran understanding for the sport.
Mm-hmm. But it's not even like he's been like 30 years of coaching or like being a part of a Formula 1 team. It's like he had his accident and then he was gone. He went and he's doing the Indy 500 or the Daytona 500 even, and doing all these kind of odd jobs, gambling and stuff like that. He wasn't in Formula 1, so kind of coming in 30 years later, like imagine doing like we're 28, imagine 28 years from now trying to pick up something that you haven't done since today.
That's another thing I wanted to bring up. How many real life people in our world have been in Formula 1 and have drifted out of the spotlight?
I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing, is that we don't follow it, so we don't know the full length and breadth of that.
That's literally what Brad Pitt's character is representing in this movie. Those who were either the has-beens or the never was.
Yeah.
I actually appreciated that little part. I forgot about that, and you reminded me when you were saying that, because there are so many drivers out there who were young spring chickens like Damson Idris as JP, and
came in, maybe did one season and then
left either by consequence, either their fault or otherwise, and never made it back, or has always been limited or restricted from making it to the spotlight.
Yeah. Well, let me surprise you with something here, Brian. I walked in yesterday into my dad in the sitting room. He was watching Formula 2, and I went, "What's Formula 2?" And he goes, "It's the league under Formula 1." And I was like, "What?" I genuinely did not know that there were leagues of of the racing. And I went, "I had no idea that Formula 2 existed." And he goes, "Yeah, there's a Formula 3, there's a Formula 4. I was like, I genuinely had no idea. I thought that there was just Formula 1. That's how little I knew about this sport. Have I blown your mind?
To the point where it's like, yeah, I'm even worthy to be talking about this in the first place.
It makes sense. Once you go, oh yeah, there are leagues under it, then...
should this have been called Formula 9 or something like that?
No, Formula 1 is the top.
Yeah, but Brad Pitt is not supposed to be at the top.
He's not, yeah.
But he is.
He is.
Scrappy. Oh yeah, overall it was a good movie. Joe Kosinski has now set the standard of expectations. Fully believe that by at least this time next year, some big blockbuster has kidnapped Damson Idris to be in their franchise now.
Probably.
Black Panther, maybe. The new Black Panther.
Maybe.
Yeah, there's actually rumours going around that he is...
The next Black Panther?
Yeah.
Interesting.
An alternative variant of T'Challa. Swear to God, there's rumours
Yeah, no,
going
I can't see it in my mind, but
yeah.
I'm sure once it's on screen...
he's been in this movie, maybe he'll pop up in another IP that needs to be diluted a little bit more now, just like how, let's say, Glenn Powell was in Top Gun Maverick, and now look at him. Yeah. He's everywhere. So, yeah.
Have you got any recommendations before we let these people go?
I'm going to recommend Rush.
Man, and then I'm going to recommend Senna. So I'm glad that we're on the same page. But yeah, talk a little about Rush.
I already did.
Okay.
Yeah. I've genuinely like that movie. I say like.
You like it. You likes it.
I love and like it.
Yeah.
Put it this way: you throw a movie with Daniel Bruhl and Chris Hemsworth in it. You think Chris Hemsworth's going to be the prominent, most likable, but no. Yeah. I dig Daniel Bruhl's character so much more because of how much he's going against.
Yeah.
I like it. And James Hunt, Chris Hemsworth, he's an asshole in the movie.
Did you know Chris Hemsworth's in Formula 1?
What do you mean?
There's a shot of him and Liam Hemsworth in the crowd. It's a split second shot like that where it's not even like a focus on them.
Were they just there?
They were just in the crowd. They were just at the crowd at one of the Formula One races.
So what, did they have to fucking get paid $1 million each?
I don't know,
Like
but it's like it's a shot of them like from above. It's not even like a direct on shot where you go, oh, that's Chris Hemsworth. I recognize them. And then we were coming out of the cinema, and I said it to my mom, and she was like, yeah, I saw him in there as well. I was like, oh yeah, it was his brother as well. I was like, I recognize Chris, but I didn't know it was his brother. But yeah, it's a really like just random shot of them from above.
Oh.
It's very strange.
Cool.
But I'm going to recommend Senna, which is probably one of the best documentaries I've ever seen, because it's all archival footage and it's all archival interviews. There's no like new content that was created for this. It was all put together.
I remember it's one of those are the better documentaries, I think.
It's by the same guy that did Diego Maradona and Amy, and it's his best.
And the best documentaries are those that you forget are actually documentaries.
Oh yeah, this one feels like it feels like it's a narrative.
It's like, how is this non-fiction?
Yeah, you could not write some of the stuff that happens in it.
Yeah.
And some of the shots in it, like
perfectly captured.
Yeah, and it's like some of it is like B-roll of like, there's one shot of like his jumpsuit outside his trailer just like flowing in the wind, and you're like, who shot that? Who saw that and goes, oh yeah, I need to get a shot of that? But like the context of what they use it for with the dialogue is perfect. It's like, it's just taking these pieces of not even a puzzle, just taking all these random jigsaw pieces and creating a new puzzle and putting it together.
What would the sport be like if Senna was still here?
Oh, I don't know, man. It would be, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But he's definitely someone that unfortunately gone way too soon. But Brian, thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Talking Pictures Podcast. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure that you are subscribed to us on your favorite podcasting app of choice. Make sure to leave us a little 5-star rating. Leave us a little review if you want to tell us what would your choice for another sports movie be? Would that be NBA? Would that be figure skating? Would that be FIFA? Let us know what you think. This podcast is brought to you by Another Happy Studios, so make sure to check out the other podcasts in our network. So we've Still Got Legs, which is a Doctor Who rewatch podcast that comes out every Monday at 10 a.m, as well as the Fishing Trip Files, which is Gavin and Stacey rewatch podcast that comes out every other Wednesday, also at 10 a.m. So if you haven't already, make sure that you listen to those, make sure you're subscribed. It should all be in the links down below. Brian, any final words before we let these people go?
Fucking boom, boom.
Thanks, friend.
Thanks, David.